What if your poverty has nothing to do with money, but everything to do with the prison you built inside your own mind? What if your real hunger isn't for bread but for courage? Listen to me. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not too broken. But if you don't rise now, this very moment, you'll keep living a life beneath your purpose, choking on your own potential, watching others build their destiny while you silence yours. I am George Washington. I speak not from the pages of history, but from the battlefield of the human spirit. And today, I return not with a sword, but with truth. If you don't rise now, you'll remain in poverty not just of coin, but of clarity, passion, power, and purpose. I want a war for freedom, but this is the war for your soul. Will you rise or will you rot? Welcome to Unlocking Wisdom, where ancient truth meets modern purpose. This channel isn't here to motivate you for a moment, it's here to awaken the lion within you. Through stories, voices of greatness, and the whispers of the divine, we take you deep into the soul's battlefield where success is redefined. Wounds are healed, and destinies are reborn. If you're tired of surviving and ready to start living, you're exactly where you need to be. The silent poverty within. They say poverty is the absence of wealth. I say poverty is the absence of will, not the kind of will written into paper fortunes, but the will to break your own chains. The most dangerous kind of poverty is not in your wallet, it's in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit when you have stopped believing you are more than what they said you could be. Let me ask you something, what do you wake up for? Is it just to survive another day? To check off boxes someone else created for you? To follow rules that keep you small and unshaken? If so, you're already poor. And I don't say that to shame you, I say it to awaken you. Because I've seen war, I've seen blood, I've seen fear that eats men alive. But nothing terrifies me more than watching a person give up on their own power. That is a death no bullet can deliver. That is a kind of slow-dying walking Roy who were not born. For that, no man or woman ever was. There is a purpose in you that screams louder than your excuses. But you've drowned it in the noise of conformity. You were meant to build, not just consume. You were meant to rise, not just endure. You were meant to burn, not just flicker. But here's the truth. You can't rise until you confront the silence within you. That silence, the one that tells you are not good enough. I'll never make it. What's the point? Is the root of your inner poverty, and you've believed it far too long. This isn't just about money. This is about the power to create, to shape your life like I once helped shape a nation. It starts with the war inside your mind. There are invisible chains around your thoughts, taught to you by broken systems, fearful people, and a culture that thrives on your stagnation. You were told to sit down, to be humble, to wait your turn, to not speak too loud, to not dream too big. But let me tell you something no one told you growing up. You don't need permission to become great. Your spirit is not poor. Your heart is not weak. Your mind is not small. They've just been caged. And I'm here to hand you the key. But before you use it, you must understand what you're unlocking. You are not unlocking success. That's the shallower word. You are unlocking freedom, freedom from the fear of being seen, freedom from the fear of failing, freedom from the fear of leaving behind everything safe to become someone you've never dared to imagine. That's the poverty we're ending today. Now. I want you to do something right now, not tomorrow. Breathe. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, what if I stood up? What if I stopped waiting for someone to pick me and pick myself? What if I rose today? Not with certainty, but with courage if that question made something stir inside you. That's not a coincidence. That's the voice of the real you buried. Beneath years of doubt, layers of fear, and lies you inherited but never questioned. You see, I had no crown. I had no throne. I had a vision and I bled for it. I saw something that didn't exist yet, and I marched forward when no one knew how it would end. You don't need to know how it will end. You just need to begin. Let's start with this truth. You are not your past. You are not your family's broken history. You are not the debt. You are not the doubt. You are the one who breaks the cycle. Let them call you crazy. Let them mock your ambition. Because all revolutions look like madness until they win. You are the revolution you've been waiting for, and that revolution begins now. You don't rise when it's comfortable. You rise when it's critical, and this is critical. This moment, this breath, this decision. Don't you dare wait for permission to save yourself. Get up. Your calling didn't die. It's just waiting for you to believe in it again. This is not about motivation. This is about transformation. This is about unlearning everything that made you feel like you're not enough. You were always more than enough. You just forgot. And now, it's time to remember. Let your hunger speak louder than your history. Let your spirit rise higher than your circumstances. Let your courage march before your clarity. And if no one has ever told you this before, then let me be the first. You are ready, even if your hands shake, even if your heart doubts, even if your knees buckle beneath the weight of what's ahead. You are ready. You are able. You are chosen. I am George Washington. I rose in a time of fear. I led men who had no shoes, no food, and no certainty of victory. And yet we rose. Because when you have nothing but a burning purpose, you already have everything you need. So I ask you again, will you stay poor in belief, poor in drive, poor in destiny, or will you rise now and never go back? Asterisk, you may not have a battlefield in front of you, but your greatest war is within, and victory begins the moment you say, I refuse to stay small. The war is within, not outside you. Let me take you back, not to a battlefield of muskets and smoke, but to a more treacherous one. The battlefield within your soul. You see, I once led armies across frozen rivers against superior forces, outnumbered, underfed, and near collapse. But those were not the hardest battles I ever faced. The hardest war one ever fought was the one against my own fear. The moment you realize that your greatest enemy is not them, not your circumstances, not even your failures, but the quiet, subtle whispers of self-betrayal within you, you wake up. You awaken to the terrifying and liberating truth. You have been holding yourself back. It's easy to blame, easy to say, they didn't help me, or life was unfair. But power begins the moment you stop pointing outward and start looking inward. Because the war was never out there. The poverty was never just in your bank. The problem was always in the programming. Let me break it down for you. You were trained to doubt yourself before you ever had a chance to. Trust yourself. You were raised to survive, not to create. You were taught how to obey, not how to believe in your own voice. You inherited fear disguised as tradition. You absorbed trauma masked as responsibility. You wore masks to please others, and you forgot the shape of your own face. And now, you find yourself wondering why life feels hollow, why your goals fall flat, why no matter how hard you work, it's never enough. I'll tell you why. You've never been at war with the world. You've been at war with you. Every time you made yourself small to make others comfortable. Every time you silenced your intuition to follow the crowd. Every time you betrayed your dream for safety, you surrendered a piece of your kingdom. But here's what you need to hear today. You were born to reign over your life, not crawl through it. You are not some fragile creature designed to merely exist. You are a fire, a storm, a spark of the divine. And you've been letting society pour water over you for far too long. Now is the time to reverse the conditioning. No one's coming to do it for you. No mentor, no lover, no savior. Only you. Only the you who's finally sick of the lies. Sick of playing the role they gave you. Sick of watching your gifts gather dust while the world moves on. You don't need more advice. You need awakening. You need a mirror, a roar, a reckoning. And I'm giving you all 3, so look at yourself. Really look. That tired version of you who thinks they're stuck. That's not the real you. That's the you who's been hiding behind stories that were never yours to begin with. Here's the truth. Your mind is your greatest battlefield, and your thoughts are your soldiers. Every belief you hold either fights for you or against you. So, what are you feeding them? Are you nourishing your mind with strength, vision, and self-respect? Or are you starving your spirit with doubt, distraction, and drama? Do not dare say you have no time. You have time. You've just been giving it to the wrong war. You've been battling opinions, fighting to prove yourself to people who don't even know themselves. You've wasted energy defending your worth when it should have been spent building your kingdom. Let that sink in. Because the moment you decide to stop fighting the world and start commanding your inner army, your discipline, your focus, your energy, everything begins to shift. You think you need a new job. No, you need a new mindset. You think you need a better relationship. No, you need to stop abandoning yourself. You think you need motivation. No, you need conviction. And conviction comes from one place only, knowing who you are and what you stand for. So ask yourself, what do you stand for? What is the line in the sand you refuse to cross? What pain have you turned into fuel? What truth are you finally ready to own? You see, poverty of the soul starts when you stop living with honor. Not the kind of honor you win on a battlefield, but the kind of honor that comes from showing up for you, from waking up and deciding, I will not abandon myself today. I will not betray my vision. I will not hand over my crown for a few coins of approval. Because every day you live beneath your calling, you pay a price far greater than money. You pay in time, you pay in joy, you pay in regret. But today, we take it back today. We rewrite the terms. Here's the new contract. I am no longer available for anything that dims my light. I am no longer available for smallness. I am no longer available for the war that keeps me poor inside. From this day forward, I choose peace, but not the quiet kind that comes from hiding. I choose the bold kind of peace that comes from alignment. The kind that comes when your actions, your words, and your heart all march in the same direction. And yes, that path will cost you. It will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your false identity. It will cost you the lies you told to stay safe. But in return, it will give you everything: freedom, power, clarity, legacy. And let me tell you something about legacy. It's not built in moments of ease. It's forged in fire. It's chiseled from choices. It's carved from conviction. I didn't become a legend because I was lucky. I became a legend because I faced my own demons and refused to bow. Now it's your turn. This is your Mount Vernon. This is your Valley Forge. This is your revolution. The enemy is not outside you. It's the voice that says, I can't, when you know you were born to say, I must. So rise not with noise, but with depth. Rise not to impress, but to express who you really are. Rise not for applause, but for alignment. And when the old you tries to pull you back with fear and fatigue, look it in the eye and say, the war is over. I won. I choose me now. Burn the old map, trust the new compass. They told you to follow the map. Stay on the path. Walk the line. Play it safe. Do what's expected. Don't fall behind. Don't get lost. But what if I told you the map they gave you was never drawn for your soul? What if I told you the path you're walking leads only to mediocrity dressed as stability? Because I've walked those roads, and I've burned them. The world doesn't need more people following maps, it needs more people listening to the compass. Inside their chest, that whisper you've been ignoring, that ache for something more, that flicker of rebellion against the life you're supposed to want. That's your compass. I remember standing in the dead of winter, in a war no one believed we could win, and having no clear path forward. No map, no certainty, just a feeling in my bones. This is the right direction, and I followed it not because I knew where it would lead, but because I trusted what it awakened inside me. You have that same compass, buried beneath years of expectations, performance, and the heavy armor you wear to protect your fears. You were taught to trade intuition for instruction. You were told to silence your knowing, to bow to authority, to betray the wild instinct. In you that said, there's something more. But let me ask you this, when was the last time you felt truly alive, not just comfortable? not just entertained, but alive, pulled by something deeper than logic, driven by something louder than fear. That aliveness is your calling, that fire in your belly. That's your guide, not the system, not the title, not the rules. Your compass is louder than their map, but it only speaks when you're silent enough to hear it. You want to rise. You want to escape poverty, not just financial, but spiritual, emotional, creative. Then you have to do the thing that terrifies the average man. You must walk away from the map. You must be willing to disappoint them to stay true to you. You must let go of the need to be understood. You must surrender the craving for certainty. Because transformation never follows directions. It follows truth. And truth doesn't yell, it whispers. It lives in the still moments, in the aching places, in the decisions that don't make sense to anyone but your soul. I know this is hard to hear, because you were raised to believe that being lost is failure. But I'll tell you what real failure is. Living a life that fits the map but kills. Your spirit. You were not born to fit. You were born to forge. The path you're meant to walk won't look like anyone else's. It won't always make sense. It will scare you, test you, strip you of everything false. But it will give you back something sacred, yourself. You'll have to walk alone sometimes. You'll have to make decisions others won't understand. But solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. It's where your roots grow deep. It's where the noise falls away and your real voice returns. That voice, that whisper from within, is your authority now. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need to be famous to be significant. You don't need 1 million followers to lead your life with boldness. What you need is alignment. Alignment between what you say, what you feel, and what you do. And that alignment can only come when you let the compass lead. So here's what I want you to do. Stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what feels true? Because when something is true, you don't need permission. You just know. You feel it in your gut, in your spine, in the way your soul exhales. That's your compass. It will lead you to places the map never could. It will ask more of you than comfort ever will. It will break you, but it will also rebuild you, stronger, clearer, whole. So why do most people never follow it? Because the compass doesn't promise ease. It doesn't promise applause. It promises truth, and truth demands the death of the false. If you follow the compass, you will lose things. You'll lose approval. You'll lose fake friends. You'll lose the image you spent years building to fit into rooms you were never meant to enter. But what you gain is everything. You gain peace. You gain direction. You gain your power, not the power they give you, but the power they can never take from you. I led a nation not because I had perfect answers. I led because I had a compass, and I dared to trust it. Now I hand it to you. Not a physical object, but a reminder. You've had your compass all along, and maybe, just maybe, all the breakdowns, all the dead ends, all the disappointments were never failures. They were divine reroutes. They were moments designed to strip away the map and bring you back to the compass dot. So stand still for a moment. Feel that pull again. It's there. It's always been there, dot, and then step. Not with fear, not with regret, but with reverence. Because every step in alignment is a step in power. Let others follow the map. Let others live by formulas. But you were born to blaze trails, dot, and one day, when they ask how you found your way, you'll smile and say, I didn't. I felt it. I followed it. And it led me home. Break the chains. Rewrite the code. You don't need another motivational quote. You don't need another video to hype you for 10 minutes only to fall back into the same spiral. You need a reset, a complete rewire. Because if the foundation of your thinking is cracked, everything you build on top of it will collapse. Let me tell you a truth that most people are too afraid to admit. You are not stuck. You are just repeating a pattern that no longer serves you. And until you break that pattern, until you rewrite the code running your inner world, you'll keep reliving the same pain, the same limitation, the same invisible ceiling. Now listen closely, the way you speak to yourself in silence. The story you play on repeat when no one is watching. The identity you wear like a second skin. That's the real battlefield. It's not the economy. It's not your boss. It's not your childhood. It's the voice you've internalized that tells you, I don't deserve it. I'm not ready. I'm not like them. I'm here to tell you, you were never meant to be like them. You were meant to be like you. Unrepeatable. Unapologetic. UNTAMED. But first you have to break the code. Because your mind has been programmed. By your past. By society. By trauma. By well-meaning parents who didn't know how to teach you to dream. By systems designed to control you, not to empower you. And now, you're trying to live a life of greatness on a code that was written in fear. Let me give it to you straight. You can't walk into your future while dragging the chains of your past. You can't create abundance with a poverty mindset. You can't build an empire with the programming of a servant. You have to delete the old software. You have to decide today not to live another day reacting to life. You must respond from a place of conscious power. And to do that, you need to rewire how you think, how you speak, and how you see yourself. Because right now, you see your struggle as your identity. But what if your struggle isn't a curse, but a classroom? What if the pain was always pointing you inward? What if the frustration was always guiding you to rewrite the code? You are not here to conform. You are here to transform. So let's begin with this declaration. I am not my past. I am not my fear. I am not my limitation. I am the author of a new script and I begin writing today. Don't just say it, feel it, let it thunder through. Your bones. You are not here to recycle your trauma. You are here to redeem it. You are here to pull gold from the ashes of what tried to break you. But you'll never do that if you keep rehearsing the lie. Because every time you say I can't, you are feeding the very chain that binds you. It's time to starve the old code. When fear rises, speak faith. When shame whispers, speak truth. When doubt knocks, answer with action. The old version of you survives through hesitation. Kill hesitation with movement. You don't need clarity to begin. You need courage. Clarity comes after the leap, not before. And yes, you will be terrified. Your hands will shake. Your voice will quiver. You will question yourself. But do it anyway. Because fear doesn't disappear. It just loses power when you stop obeying it. And every step you take in the opposite direction of your fear rewires your brain. You're not just building habits, you're forging identity. Do you hear me? This is not self-help. This is self-liberation. And if no one has ever told you this, let me say it now. You are powerful. You are worthy. You are enough. Not in the future right now. But you must own it. Not once, not when it's convenient, every single day. This is your training ground. And here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your past, not your job, not your relationship. You are the one you've been waiting for. This isn't about reading one more book. It's about becoming what you already know. The code must change. From I am not enough to I was made. For this, from what if I fail, to what if I rise. From this is just who I am to this is who I choose to become. Your entire reality bends to the code you live by. So check it, rewrite it. Rewire it. Start speaking anew. Story until it hardwires itself into your bones. You are not trying to become something. You are returning to who you've always been beneath the lies, the fear, the programming. And when you finally break those chains, when you finally rewrite the code, the world won't just see a different version of you, they'll see a leader, a warrior, a lighthouse. And they'll ask, how did you change? And you'll say, I stopped living from memory and I started living from purpose. Build a life that answers to you. There comes a point when you have to stop asking for directions because no one else is going where you're meant to go. No map, no mentor, no family legacy can dictate your path once you realize this one truth. You were never meant to fit inside someone else's definition of success. You were meant to build a life that answers only to one voice, your own. But be warned, this path isn't paved. It's carved. And it's carved by your decisions, one after another, in silence, in sweat, in seasons where no one claps for you and no one sees you. This is the cost of freedom, letting go of the life you were taught to want in order to build, the one your soul actually craves. And that's terrifying, because it means walking away from what's working. It means saying no to what's normal. It means having the courage to burn the blueprint they handed you and design something that actually fits the shape of your spirit. You've been living under expectations that were never yours. You've been carrying a weight that doesn't belong to you. And you wonder why you're tired. Why? You're numb. Why even when things go right, they still feel wrong? It's because your soul is suffocating under the pressure of a life that's out of alignment. Success that demands you abandon your peace isn't success. A career that kills your joy isn't. Worth keeping. A relationship that requires you to shrink isn't love. And a dream that doesn't reflect your true essence isn't destiny, it's distraction. So I ask you, who are you building your life for? For the people clapping on the sidelines? For the version of you that was shaped by fear? For the timeline society told you to follow? Or for the inner knowing that refuses to die? Because deep down, you know when something feels off. You know when you're performing. You know when you're settling. And you can only ignore that for so long before your body starts to ache. Your mind starts to spiral and your spirit begins to whisper, this isn't it. You don't need more motivation. You need permission from yourself to start over if you must. To redesign your life based on truth, not tradition. Because I've seen what happens when a person starts to honor what they really want. I've seen men put down their pride and pick up their purpose. I've seen women walk away from applause to pursue peace. I've seen people leave behind success to pursue something sacred. And they don't just survive, they thrive, not because it's easy, but because it's real. Authenticity will cost you, yes. It will cost you your masks, your performance, your fake certainty. But it will give you back something priceless, the ability to look in the mirror and recognize yourself again. Let that be your standard. Not status, not titles, but alignment. Are you proud of the way you live? Are your days shaped by what matters to you or by what you think you're supposed to chase? If the answer hurts, good, because pain is a compass, discomfort is a message, and dissatisfaction is the beginning of liberation. You don't have to destroy everything to change your life, but you do have to dismantle the lie that says, this is all there is. There is more within you, more available to you, more waiting on the other side of your honesty. But you must be brave enough to admit that what you've built now longer feeds you. And here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Sometimes the prison is made of gold. A nice house, a good job, approval from others, and yet you still feel like something is missing. That's not ingratitude. That's awakening. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. Gratitude means recognizing your blessings while still reaching for the fullness of your purpose. So stop asking for permission to change. Stop waiting for a crisis to give you the excuse to pivot. Stop lying to yourself to keep the peace. Because peace without truth is just delay. And delay is the enemy of destiny. Build a life that feels like you. One brick at a time. One hard decision at a time. One real conversation at a time. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because when you live in alignment, you no longer chase energy, you become the source of it. You no longer need external validation, you radiate inner clarity. You no longer wake up dreading the day, you create the day. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to be, but because authenticity is the most powerful force on earth. You walk different, speak different, decide different, and the world can't help but feel it. And yes, people will talk. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're selfish. They'll say you think you're better. Let them talk, because their discomfort is just a sign that you stopped playing small to fit their comfort zone. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to lead. And true leadership starts with the decision to lead your own life first. So begin today, even if your hands tremble, even if the way is unclear, Even if it means walking alone. Build a life that makes you proud, that reflects your values, that honors your time, your soul, and your gifts, not for applause, not for perfection, but for peace. You don't need to start over. You just need to start being honest. And when you do, everything false will fall away. Everything fake will dissolve. And what's real will rise. It's time. You've waited long enough. The life that answers to you is calling, not tomorrow. Now. Rise through resistance. Become unbreakable. There will come a time when the world pushes back with full force, not because you're wrong, but because you're finally doing something right. Growth doesn't provoke comfort. It provokes resistance. And if you've felt the pressure, lately, good. That means you're moving. You see, no one resists what doesn't threaten the status quo. Mediocrity never gets attacked. Conformity is never challenged. But the moment you rise, the moment you begin to break cycles, choose truth, and live with intention, resistance shows up. And I want you to understand something most people never learn. Resistance isn't a sign to stop. It's a signal to continue. Because pressure is what creates power. Storms are what shape mountains. Fire is what purifies gold. And if your soul has been feeling the heat, the chaos, the pull to quit, it only means you're in process. You are being forged, not destroyed. And there is a massive difference. But here's the hard part. Most people don't survive the forging. They run when it gets heavy. They numb themselves when the pain rises. They go back to the small life because the big one demands too much. But you're not most people. You didn't come this far to collapse. You didn't awaken your purpose just to go back to sleep. You didn't taste truth just to settle for lies. Again, so hear me now. When resistance comes, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what am I rising into? Because every wall is a mirror. Every attack is an invitation. Every storm is a test not of your strength, but of your identity. Do you remember who you are when everything gets loud? When your past calls you? Back when fear whispers lies, when failure wraps around you like fog. Can you still say, I choose me, when it would be easier to disappear? This is the spiritual battleground where the old you fights for survival, and the new you is still. Being born. It will feel confusing. It will feel unfair. You'll question your sanity. You'll lose people. You'll walk through fire no one warned you about. But every resistance you face is a doorway. You think you're breaking down, but really you're breaking through into a version of yourself that cannot be manipulated, into a strength that doesn't need permission, into a frequency that no longer matches your former life. And here's the truth. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. If it doesn't test your conviction, it won't awaken your courage. If it doesn't stretch you, it won't strengthen you. So let the resistance do its job. Let it strip you of ego. Let it expose what's weak. Let it burn away what no longer belongs. You are not falling apart, you are falling into alignment. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's exhausting. Yes, you'll want to quit. But this is the making of a warrior. This is the shaping of a soul that knows how to rise without applause, how to lead without followers, how to stay the course without a finish line. You want freedom. You want power. You want peace. Then earn it. By staying when it's hard, by rising when it's dark, by continuing when every voice says, this isn't working. Because what's not working isn't your path, it's your old self trying to drag you back. Refuse to be dragged. Refuse to bow. Refuse to give away your power just because the process is uncomfortable. Growth is messy. It's not clean. It's not cute. It's not curated. It's painful, raw, vulnerable, lonely. But it's also sacred, clarifying, transformative, unstoppable. You don't become unbreakable by avoiding the cracks. You become unbreakable by walking through them, over and over, until they stop scaring you. Every time you face what you used to avoid, you build spiritual muscle. You build mental steel. You build emotional resilience. And the world can feel it. You walk into rooms differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. because you've tasted resistance and you didn't flinch. Now hear me, the people who build legacies don't escape pain, they alchemize it. They use every scar as strategy. They use every wound as wisdom. They turn what tried to bury them into foundation. This is who you are now. You're not just someone chasing success. You are someone becoming solid, grounded, unshakable. And no matter what hits you, disappointment, delay, betrayal, failure, you don't crumble. You rise anyway, because your foundation is no longer built on ego. It's built on identity. This isn't just resilience. This is rebirth. And if you're in the thick of it right now, don't run. Breathe. Anchor. Stay present. You are being refined by a fire that does not destroy, it defines. And on the other side of this, a version of you that no longer needs validation. A mission that no longer fears resistance. A strength that no longer questions its source. You are being called to walk through the resistance not as a victim, not as a struggler, but as a vessel of power and purpose. Walk it. Speak through it. Move through it. This is your firewalk. This is your proving ground. This is the price of unshakable clarity. And once you've walked through it, you'll look back not with regret, but with reverence. Because the resistance didn't ruin you. It revealed you. It rebuilt you. It resurrected you. Become who you were born to be. This is where it all comes together, not in the noise, not in the hustle, not in the pressure to prove, but in the silence of your becoming. This is where you stop chasing and start embodying, where the striving ends and the alignment begins. Because everything you've walked through, every storm, every resistance, every crack in your soul was leading here to this one truth. You were not born to survive. You were born to lead. And I don't mean lead nations. I mean lead yourself. Lead your days with purpose. Lead your thoughts with intention. Lead your energy with discernment. Because a life of greatness doesn't begin with titles or applause. It begins with ownership. Own your story. Own your voice. Own your scars. Own the fact that you're still here not by accident, but by assignment. You were created for this moment. You didn't stumble into this life. You were placed, positioned, prepared. And maybe you've spent years doubting that. Maybe you've been playing small to protect others. Maybe you've been afraid to rise because of how they might see you. But I'll tell you something I learned from war, from leadership, from standing face to face with the impossible. You cannot save a world you are still afraid to stand apart from. You want to change your life, then become the version of yourself that your future deserves. Not the one who keeps shrinking, apologizing, hiding. The one who speaks boldly, walks purposefully, and chooses intentionally. Stop living in delay. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop thinking you need one more certification, one more follower, one more sign. You are the sign. You are the answer to your own prayer. You are the miracle you keep waiting for. But miracles don't show up when you're ready. They show up when you decide. Decide that your life is yours again. Decide that your pain will not define your path. Decide that from this moment on you live, move, speak, and act like someone who finally remembers who they are. You are not the wound. You are the healer. You are not the victim. You are the voice. You are not the background noise in someone else's story. You are the main character in your own. So become it, not tomorrow, not when they approve, now. Because the world does not need more people playing roles they never auditioned for. The world needs you in full expression, in full power, in full truth. And I'll tell you what no one else will. You are ready, not because it's easy, not because everything's perfect, but because you've been through enough fire to finally trust your own flame. You know what matters now. You've outgrown the noise. You've buried the lies. And you've awakened to a deeper truth. That your life was never meant to look like anyone else's. That your journey, as messy as it's been, is sacred. That your voice, even when it shakes, carries power. And that your presence here, right now, is not a coincidence. It is divine. So live like it. Speak like it. Act like it. You don't need to convince the world of your worth. You need to live like someone who finally believes it. Let them misunderstand. Let them gossip. Let them walk away. Because when you start showing up as your highest self, not everyone can stay. But you stay. You stay loyal to your path. You stay committed to your mission. You stay anchored in your soul. Because this world doesn't change because people try hard. It changes when people remember who they are, when they stand tall in their truth, when they stop hiding and start embodying the power that was always theirs. You have always been that powerful. You just forgot. And this journey, this war, this rise, this fire, it was never about becoming someone new. It was about returning to the one you've always been underneath the noise. So from here forward, live bold, move raw, speak truth, give grace, walk fiercely, and above all, love deeply, because real power flows from a heart that is unafraid to feel. You are no longer who you were. You are becoming. You are rising. You are returning. You are awakening. And if anyone asks, who are you to lead, to shine, to build something sacred out of all your pain? Smile and say, I am the one who stood up when no one expected me to. I am the one who healed what others ran from. I am the one who burned the old script and wrote a new ending. I am the one who decided enough is enough, and I've become who I was always meant to be. Drop a comment below if this final part spoke to the deepest part of your soul. Like if this journey changed the way you see yourself. Subscribe to Unlocking Wisdom so you never forget who you truly are and where you're meant to go.